I wanted to talk about home-based service business owners, and if you are wondering whether or not you should use SEO to get leads. This conversation was kind of brought on about me recently speaking with a potential client on the phone. They are a service-based industry, service-based business, and they are wondering, should we bother with SEO? Is there anything else that we can be doing? What is it all about SEO? It seemed like a real big question mark in their minds as to what it was and if it could actually help them. That in conjunction with a Facebook conversation that I was just having the other day. There seems to be a lot of misconceptions about SEO, what it really is, what it should do for you, who are the SEO experts out there. There seems to be an awful lot of conflicting viewpoints. Who should you believe? Who should you trust? Understandably, this is definitely an area where there's a lot of miscreants out there, people who don't really know what they're doing, shysters and all that fun stuff. So it's not exactly a topic that you can just, immediately know who you can trust. Are you wondering if SEO is what you need in order to get more leads? Are you not sure what SEO really is? And is it worthwhile investing in? First, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm Susan Friesen, website specialist, business and digital marketing consultant, and social media advisor with eVision Media. And I like to bring you these Amplify Business e-tips so that you don't have to try and figure out all this complicated marketing landscape that we find ourselves in. And so stick around. I would love to share with you some insights about SEO. Question for you is, does the thought of SEO make your eyes glaze over? Does it, I understand if it does, really, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, there are so many things that we have to be thinking about and worrying about. And there's so many different messages out there of different things that, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then all of a sudden this SEO thing comes cropping up. And sometimes because it's not something that we fully understand, it's easy to just dismiss and think that you really don't need it, or you'll take care of it some other day, or what have you. But first of all, let's kind of talk about the bare necessities of what exactly SEO is. And, I'm sure some of you already know all of this stuff, but it doesn't hurt. So SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. I know that a lot of people tend to use that phrase SEO for all of their online marketing. It doesn't matter. They'll even include it in with their Facebook ads. SEO is not all encompassing. It does not include all of your online marketing efforts. SEO is search engine optimization, which at the end of the day, what we want to do is we have our website, and we want our website to be found in the search engines, but not just found. We want our website to come up higher in the search engine rankings, so that people who are looking for our particular product or service will find us higher up in the search engines and, ahead of our competitors, right? And typically we want our listing, our website listing, to show up absolutely within the first 3 pages. Ideally up at the top, right? But, that is all depends on the keyword phrases and what people are typing in order to find you. So when we talk about search engines, we're talking about your typical Google, but there's also Bing and there's also Yahoo. Those are kind of our 3 big search engines. So even though we've referenced Google as being the search engine of choice, there are others that we also want to get into those search rankings. And so when I talk about search rankings, I'm referring to organic search rankings. And what organic means is that we haven't paid any money to have an advertisement in Google or any of those other search engines. So it means that organically we have shown up, our website has shown up when somebody has done a search that is related to our product and service. The thing to know, and the reason why we have so many conflicting messages, so many people, so many experts are telling you, oh, well, this is it. This is what you have to do. This is what you need to do. And then on top of that, we also get the shysters out there, the ones who are promising number one in the search engine ranking. There is no way anybody can promise you number one search engine results. That if anybody does, shut them down, say goodbye. That you just don't want to deal with those people. And the reason for that is nobody knows Google's secrets. Nobody knows what these algorithms are. We deal with these algorithms that kind of determine what we as a viewer gets to see when we are visiting these platforms. Google and Bing and Yahoo, they have their own secret private algorithms that determine who should be in that number one prime spot, who should be in the number two. And these algorithms are constantly changing. And it's a test and tweak kind of a game that we have to play. We are at the mercy of Google and the search engines, but we don't know what the rules of the game are. Let's put it that way. Now, in saying that, the longer somebody has been in this world of learning search engine optimization, there are certain guidelines and rules of thumbs and strategies that seem to work. And so there are some things that we would definitely want to implement. And then from there, it's a game. It really is a game on, okay, if I do this test, if I do this tweak, will that get me any higher in these rankings? This is one of those conversations that we were having just the other day on Facebook. And there was somebody who was very overwhelmed and was in a state of anxiousness almost at finding somebody they could trust and just get the job done. And the more that they talked to different people, kind of, in this interview mode, the more confused they were getting because the more mixed messages they were receiving. And so this is definitely something that is a problem, but it's understandable and it's not one that can easily be fixed because the more that you have been in this industry, the more you've learned, the more you understand. And then, of course, the longer you've been in this industry, sometimes we hold on to old ways, old methods that used to work that aren't all that relevant anymore. And then the next kind of one thing that I wanted to talk about was how is SEO done? And this is where we come into that. Well, everybody has these different ideas on you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Oh, don't bother with that anymore. Oh, well, that's irrelevant now. And so here all of a sudden, we have this smorgasbord of options ahead of us, in front of us on, what we should do. So the first thing and the primary thing and the key thing that we all have to do is to optimize our website. It is all about your website. Like I said at the beginning, we want to make sure that your website listing gets high up in those search engine rankings when somebody is typing in a question or needs help with that particular type of product or service that you're providing. And so there's some key things that Google and the search engines are looking for. And, these are kind of the givens, the ones that we know for sure need to be in place as part of those algorithms. And one of them is making sure that your website is mobile friendly. This is kind of a new thing. It has been implemented more recently, that if your site does not render well and quickly on a mobile screen, on a smaller screen, then you will get deranked. Your rankings won't be as high as they could be. The other thing is making sure that you have clean HTML code and that the site structure is nicely done. And this is becoming more and more of a problem with WordPress websites that are bloated with extra code in the background. That happens a lot when you purchase a theme and use the theme, the content editor to create the content, and continually upload and install plugins to help you create that content. And every time you do that, it's causing more bloat on your website. It slows your website down. It's creating a lot more chaos in the background, and the search engines don't like that. And so that's one of the things that I guess I'm more of a traditionalist. I've been in this industry for 20 years now. I grew up learning HTML code, how to code from scratch a website. And I never went away from that. Obviously, I don't do the coding anymore. We do build in website and WordPress, but we don't use those bloated themes. We actually create our own themes so that we have complete control over the code that's in the background, and it's nice and clean, and what is there is necessary. We don't put in the extra bloat. And so one of the things that I tell my clients about is if you remember the Kerplunk game on the Price is Right, where you put this disc up at the top and there's all these nails and the disc kind of has to kerplunk all the way down, and then you get the prize at the bottom. And so all of those spikes is your HTML code, if you will, and the disc up at the top is Google and the search engines trying to index your website. So it's like the harder it has and bouncing around, the faster it's just going to bounce up and out again. It won't even make it down to the bottom. You know, the worse that your website is coded in, the less your website is going to get indexed by those bots that Google sends out to grab the code, the content that's on your site. And site speed is another one. I referenced that really quickly. If your site is slow to come up, the bots are not easily able to access your site. So site speed is super important. And, and those are kind of like, about the quality of the build, the build itself of the website. But there's other things that you also need to be aware of. And this is more in the content. So you want to make sure that you have keyword-rich metadata, meta title and description, the use of headings. So your H1 tags, your H2, your H3, Google's looking for that and making sure that your keywords are in there and using those quality content. So it's not just a matter of having something up on your website. It has to be quality as well. And quality means that the content that's on your website, whether it's a blog post or your about page or your services page, whatever it is, it needs to be relevant to your ideal target market. It needs to be relatable to them and have, be filled with those keywords that your target market would be using if they were typing out something in the search engines where you would want them to find you. So that's another one. And then quality backlinks is also a key factor. And quality is the name of the game here. You don't want to just do random link trades with people. You want to actually be linked back to your website from quality websites that Google finds those websites of quality too. Way back in the day, there used to be these link farms, and Google said, forget that noise, and shut that down. So, but now it's more about the quality. So not quantity, but quality. There's lots of factors that go into determining how your search engine rankings are. Now, and this is not, my intention today was not to teach you how to do your own SEO. I just wanted to give you an overview of what you need to know so that you can make an informed choice on whether or not you should be implementing SEO for your business on your website. You can't ignore SEO. Just because you have a website doesn't mean people are going to know it exists. So that's where the SEO is one component of your online marketing efforts that you need to work on in order to make sure that you actually have qualified traffic going to your website to discover who you are, what it is that you're offering, and then convert them into paying customers and clients. One of the key things about, some people who say, oh no, I don't need to worry about SEO. I don't count on search engines traffic to find me and my business. I have other things that are, that I am focusing on. And, with that kind of an attitude, it's like you're ignoring a huge piece of potential clients. If you're ignoring SEO and thinking that you're not going to rely on search engine traffic finding your website, then you really aren't looking at the big picture. And I've always been a proponent of having your marketing being several pronged approach so that you're not counting on just one particular way of driving traffic to your website and gaining new clients. And SEO is a major prong that you really do need to pay attention to. Now, in saying that, as I said at the top, it is an overwhelming thing to try and do all of this yourself. And SEO ends up being at the bottom of the pile. And so the question remains, or, you should be asking yourself, is this something that you should learn to do yourself? Or is it something that you should outsource to? It is such a big topic. There is so much to learn and things are always changing. It's constantly being revised, and that testing and tweaking has to be done on an ongoing basis. And that's why we work with clients with a minimum of a 6-month package, up to 9 months, up to a year and longer, because it is a progression and is constantly changing and evolving. So if you want to learn how to do SEO on your own, you really do need to be prepared to become an SEO expert. And then all of a sudden you've kind of lost what you really are all about. What is your business really about? Are you an SEO expert? Are you an online marketing expert? Or are you a coach or a real estate agent or a home stager? You have to kind of remember that, why you're in business. What is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? And not get caught up in all of these other expertise that you might, people might be telling you, oh, well, in order for you to do this, you have to learn that and learn that and learn that. My positioning is that you need to know what you need to do. And that's the purpose of today's tip, but you don't necessarily need to know how to do it. But you need to know enough in order to be able to hire the right people so that you're not getting ripped off. In saying that, there are some things that you could and should be doing on your own that you don't need to outsource unless you have a budget to do that with. And one of the things, as I had mentioned, is that Google likes content. One of the things that Google looks for is new content being added to the website. And one of the best ways of doing this is through a blog, consistently bringing in that new quality content so that the search engines are picking it up, saying, hey, this site is alive and well. There's new stuff. There's fresh meat that just got posted, and you'll be rewarded. That's just one of the main features of having a blog. Be active on it. Continually post on a consistent manner. If you don't have one yet, get one put in. If you don't know how to write, don't know what to write, don't like writing, outsource it. We do a lot of writing on behalf of clients. We write their article for them. They proof it. They make sure that it's done in their voice. Then we add it to their blog for them. And that way they're getting that SEO juice that they really need. And then the other thing that you really want to do is study keywords. And I've been mentioning some keyword rich titles and keywords in the content. And it's really important that you do understand how these algorithms work and what keywords are and how to find the best keywords to use in relation to your business, your industry, what is it that your target market is going to be searching for? What are those words that are going to be in the search bar that Google will say, there's a match. Let's serve up this website because it's matching. And so that's something that you should study. And if you go to our blog on evisionmedia.ca website, you will see that we have some articles in there about keywords, and I've done some e-tips on it as well. And the other thing that is totally within your control and something that you want to make a habit of doing is sharing that content. So when you put in a new blog post, make sure that you share it to your social media accounts, and even replicated in some article repositories. I know, again, we do that a lot. Daniel does that quite a bit. He's got a huge list of places where he can be sharing our clients' content to, and that will help with the backlinks that Google will like, and it'll also expand your brand reach to get you more in front of your ideal target market. And these are just a few of the suggestions on what you can do. My question to you is, do you currently have somebody doing SEO for you, or do you try to do it yourself, or is it something that you've just completely not bothered with, thinking it's not worth your while, or not worth the expense, or just like there's just way too many other things happening right now for you to be worrying about that? So I would love to hear from you. And of course, if you do need any SEO done, on your website, we would be happy to help you out with that. We do, it's a full-time job for Daniel. And so, go ahead and type in, send us an email to info@eVision Media. For service-based industries, it's certainly important because you're competing against many, many others who are doing the same thing as you are. And especially if you're geographically based, like if you're a home stager or interior decorator or a real estate agent, mortgage broker, anything like that, lawyer, where you're confined to work within a geographic space, SEO is even more important for you to be found, because that's what people are going to be doing. They're going to look for lawyer in Abbotsford, right? And so you want to make sure that your listing comes up and not the 20, 30, 50, I don't know how many lawyers there are in Abbotsford, all of your competitors don't show up. So super important about that. And also, if you want to be kept up to date with all of this stuff, all of this online marketing stuff, what to do with your website, how to do your social media, things that, that all business owners need to know and understand about, I invite you to sign up for our free report. We have a free website guide that is called the Ultimate Website Guide. And if you go to click on ultimatewebsiteguide.ca, you'll get our free guide download. Plus, every week, I have a newsletter that we get sent out that shares information about stuff that you need to know as a business owner in order to know and understand what it is that you need to do in the online marketing world to get yourself out there. Thank you so much for showing up, and I'll talk to you next time. All right. Bye for now, everybody.